Okay, welcome back. This is week 5, video number 5. And in this video, I'm going to go over the research file, which is going to be your major project this half of the term. So I wanted to go through some information with you, just some housekeeping issues, and then I'll explain the actual project itself. I want to ask you to make sure that you read the instructions on the assignment sheet very, very carefully so that you complete all parts of the project. There's different parts that you're going to be completing. Where students have had trouble with this assignment in the past is forgetting to do a certain part or not completing things fully. So make sure that you're very, very clear. I will go over those instructions, but please, again, make sure that you read them carefully. The due date for this project is October the 24th. That seems like a ways away, but when you actually see how much work this project is, it's going to make sense why I'm giving you such an extended due date. Note that October 24th is the Sunday before reading week. So I want to give you the maximum amount of time that I can to complete this work. So I wanted to give you some time that weekend if you need to finish things up. So it's October 24th by midnight. As usual, you're going to be uploading to Blackboard. The rest of your time this week, after watching all of the videos, and the majority of your time next week, is going to be devoted to this research file project. I'm only going to be putting out a very short video next week in order to give you maximum class time to complete the project. Okay, so our work now is really just focusing on this research file. Let's take a look at the actual research file handout. I'll just open that up. Sorry, I opened up the incorrect file there. And let's take a look at what you're going to be doing. So last week, I asked you to look through a list of topics and to decide on a topic that you want to pursue some research on. Eventually, we're going to be writing an essay on this topic. That's going to come after the break. Your goal right now is to gather material, read it, take notes on it, and produce some summaries of the material that you've gathered. And I call this the research file assignment. So it's preparing and gathering some material that we are later going to work with to write our own essays. So again, I want to make sure that I'm really clear. I'm not asking you to write an essay at this stage. What I am asking you to do is gather, take notes, and summarize material, as well as create an APA references page. So to complete the assignment, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to find some material on the topic. And the material needs to be from the Niagara College library system. So it can be any combination of articles and ebooks. I normally tell people to start with the ebooks first, okay? Because the ebooks tend to be less specialized than the articles. But you can come up with any combination that you want. So you can have 2 articles in a chapter, you can have 3 chapters, you can have 3 articles, any combination that you want. Excuse me. I'm going to also ask you, based on your reading, to narrow your topic to either the symptoms of the condition or disease that you're working on or the treatments for it, but not both. Okay, because we are going to be writing sort of a mini essay. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew. So narrow your focus as you're doing research to finding information about the symptoms of your condition or the treatments for your condition. And certain conditions will lend themselves more easily to one or the other. So a lot of it will depend on what you've chosen and what sort of information you find. Make sure that you're picking chapters and articles judiciously. So go through that process that we talked about. Make sure that you read the abstract. Make sure that it's something that's understandable to you. Don't just pick something because it comes up first in the list. So really take the time to actually dig through your material to find 3 items that really work for you. I'm then going to ask you to read through each of these 3 chapters or articles, and I'm going to ask you to prepare a set of Cornell notes for each item. You can complete the Cornell notes by computer, or you can complete the Cornell notes by hand. Up to you, whatever way you would like to work is fine with me. Remember, again, in the week 5 folder, I have put a template in, so you're free to print that out if you want to work by hand. If you're going to work on the computer, I'll just ask you to make up something in Word that's going to allow you to use different columns so that you can do the 3 different parts, okay, of the Cornell system. In terms of submission, excuse me, if you're doing your notes by computer, obviously you're going to be able to just turn that around as a PDF file and send those notes to me. If you're doing it by hand, I'll ask you to take photos or scan your notes, put them in a PDF format, and then upload them with your assignment. Once you've done the Cornell notes, I'm going to get you to complete a worksheet that's attached, okay, to this document that we're in right now. And basically what I'm asking you to do is to tell me what type of item you have. Is it a journal article or is it a book chapter? I'm going to get you to give me the title and the authors of your sources. And then I'm going to have you write a summary of each of the items. So remember, again, a summary is a single paragraph. You want to make sure that you really go over that summary strategy that we've discussed this particular week, and that you look at those extra resources so that you're following summary strategy. And then finally, you want to compose and print a correctly formatted APA references page for your 3 sources. Okay, so quite a bit of work here. The other thing too that I will mention, no title page is required for this assignment because it is just a planning assignment, but you do need that references page. Okay, now the bad news. How long is all of this going to take? Well, I'm going to give you sort of a time budget, all right? And I don't want you to panic when you look at this, but I do want to be realistic with you. This is a long project that's going to take a fair amount of time. That's why I'm giving you the rest of the time this week 5 and basically all of your time week 6 to devote to this particular project. I would recommend that you spend maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours just looking for articles and chapters. Okay, some of you may get lucky and you may find things quite quickly. Other people may have to do a little more digging. Again, it's going to depend on the topic that you've chosen. To actually read the articles and to do the Cornell notes, I'm suggesting a budget of about 3 to 4 hours. Okay, this is going to be where you spend most of your time actually reading through the material and understanding the material. Excuse me. Writing summaries, I'm going to recommend will take 1 to about 1.5 hours. Again, it will be easy because you'll have all of your main ideas in your Cornell notes. So it really is just sort of stringing things together and being careful that you're following that strategy. And then creating the references list, I'm thinking should take about 30 minutes. When you add all of this up, this comes to a total of about 8 hours of work. So it's a fairly significant chunk. I will tell you honestly that this is not the type of assignment that you can get done the night before it's due. You really have to sort of spend multiple days. I would personally chunk it up the way that I've chunked up the time budget. So I would go through those 4 steps. I'd do my searching for articles, take a bit of a break or work on something else. Then I'd go to reading, take a break, work on something else, go to the summaries, and maybe do it over a number of days as opposed to trying to sit in one session and get it all done. Of those 8 hours, though, 4 to 6 are going to be class hours that you would normally spend doing class stuff. So as I said, next week, I am going to put out just a short little video just to check in with you. The majority of your time is going to be working on this project. Okay. If you have any questions or run into any difficulties as you're working through this project, make sure that you come to the course chat for your particular section. Remember as well, if you're having difficulty finding material, the library is always available with live chat so that you can get a library worker online with you right away to help answer any questions you may have or help you actually find information. So make sure that you use that if you need it. Okay, I wish you lots of luck with this project. It should actually be fun. You're really getting your feet wet in terms of medical research. I hope you enjoy the process. As always, if there's any problems at all, please check in with me at the course chat. I'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.